I can't believe they're still making movies. Hello, I'm Casper KZ, and it's not too late. We can still do this. But as we all know from stepping into literally any retailer on November the 1st, Christmas is coming, everybody. A holiday I do not approve of. Probably Nazis, somehow, I bet. So, in an attempt to prevent the inevitable, let us proceed like this. Most scary movies, like most movies in general, not good. And that's half the fun. And fun is operative here because that's all I fucking care about anymore. The Mortuary Collection, from the only streaming service I care even a little bit about, Shudder. Or possibly Shudder. Evidently I didn't care enough to Google what it's actually called because I was too confident in the moment, and now I'm like really not sure. If it's called Shudder, that's thematically appropriate. If it's called Shutter, that could be literally anything involving a camera. It's an anthology film, but wait, don't go, because it's told through the proscenium of Clancy Brown, being extra creepy in the campest way possible.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
He's a funeral director telling scary stories to a young lady post-service, but there sure as shit ain't something right about this man. There are 5 stories total. Creature Feature, which is brief and more about introduction to the format. Gross Out and Gore, combined with Comeuppance and Buyer Beware, very Sam Raimi. Psychological, which was very upsetting and consequently I imagine quite effective, but I did not have a good time. Slasher, best one, loved it, powerful violence, not all of it on screen. And then the final one is All 4 Elements, which is also just kind of a resolution. I recommend it for Clancy Brown's performance alone, but the cinematography capturing every genre style is also achieved rather well. The psychological one in the middle really fucked me up in the moment. I respect that. It was written and directed by Ryan Spindell, whose previous works were all shorts, so when it comes to anthology, we're in good hands. Werewolves Within finally came out this year. You should check it out, I feel. Set in very northern USA, so much so that I was pretty sure it was Canada. A recently relocated police officer has to deal with a series of grisly murders in this small town that very well could be the result of werewolves.
The roads are effed, and something's wrong with the generator.
Which generator?
All of them.
Can't get on the internet!
Also, there's a dead body under your porch.
Holy
There is a rich palette of characters painting this picture, and they are all eccentric weirdos. All I ever want is a collection of unusual people not taking their situation as plain-facedly as a typical protagonist might. Everyone delivers that in this film, which is very, very technically an adaptation of a VR game. Nobody ever stands stoically in the moment going, I believe in myself, my training has led to this moment, I am the protagonist. Except once, when it is used as setup for subversion of a kind. This film was directed by Josh Rubin, who cut his teeth working on the College Humor Show. Probably a good place to start. The Hunt. I don't give a shit about the politics of the film, or the real-world politics of the people involved. The arts in general are permeated with vain, narcissistic, vacuous idiots. I'm the exception. I like this movie because it took a familiar trope. A bunch of strangers wake up in a second location with no memory of how they got there, and then all of a sudden they're in danger, and puts a psychopath in their midst. So often the harrowing circumstances must be overcome by the power of teamwork, or crying about self-discovery. Or being a teenager. Not this fucking movie! Protagonist is here to burn it all down. Very cathartic. I went into the film completely cold and we couldn't even tell who the protagonist was for the first 20 minutes or so. It starts out as a very unusually structured film, but the ending is less interesting because it culminates in a final confrontation boss fight scenario, whereas the rest of the film is just subverting so many tropes with the device of a psychopath. You know how most movies deal with this situation? Well, I'm just gonna hit it with a car. So there's a lot of cathartic pleasure. If you like God of War, this is that. A brief aside here now, just momentarily. A Quiet Place is one of the dumbest fucking movies I've ever seen, filled with such contrived idiocy. I am genuinely impressed at its level of success. Although I think that can probably be explained with the cast and the writer-director. Everybody fucking loves John Krasinski. I didn't watch The Office, not my thing, so I don't know. From start to finish, it's gotta be one of the most frustrating things ever committed to film, because the consensus was not to appreciate this with irony. No, this is real. This is real. These people really made these choices. That whiteboard at the end, that was legit. There's a nail sticking up out of the middle of one of the steps. That is an unacceptable contrivance in a universe where there aren't monsters that'll kill you for screaming. Some fucking cunt had to put that there. That said, at least there were monsters. There's nothing worse than the eldritch horror was an imagined metaphor all along. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Minor spoilers. The ending is a little divisive, but I respect anyone who's prepared to jump the shark. Or all of the sharks. The entire film is tense and captivating if you happen to have not seen it, but the ending really makes me happy. It, of course, was not originally part of the Cloverfield universe, and it still kind of isn't, really. It was directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who went on to direct episodes of Black Mirror and The Boys. I say episodes, one of each. Battle Royale. It has inspired many imitators and spawned an entire genre of video games that take its title for their name, so I doubt you need me to explain the premise. Well, in Japan, and also the future, I'm pretty sure, there's a population problem or something, so students are abducted at random, I think, and made to participate in Battle Royale. It has been over a decade since I saw Battle Royale. It's still the best one, never mind your Squid Game. And finally, of course, John Carpenter's thingamajig What Came From Space, We Reckon, and then done a violence in the ice. You know, you've seen. It's great. You got any you want to recommend? Fucking hit me up. The only unfortunate and very restricting caveat is I can't read subs anymore. I'm too fucking blind. Still haven't seen Train to Busan. I would really like to. Still haven't seen A Chinese Ghost Story. I might just make the exception and make somebody read it to me because I'm gonna see that movie. Next year I'm thinking I'll probably do a video every day of October, you know, like Monster Madness, if I haven't completely redirected. Only I'll do it for spooky video games because everybody else's list sucks, as do their faces. So I shouldn't have a hard time fitting in.